So we're going to use another space warp to allow the car to stick to some form of surface. Let me just reset my scene, and let's do this on just a cube and a plane for the moment. So let's come in here, we'll create a huge plane, just show edge faces, and I'm going to change the segments up a lot so we've got some density on this thing. And let me just put a noise modifier, so my modify panel coming across to noise, and let's increase all of this. So maybe, so it looks pretty good. That's probably good enough for what we need. And I'm going to create a cube or a box, and let's just change the color so we can see it. And let's move that to center of the world. And I need to move this down because what we'll be using, actually, it needs to be underneath the zero plane. There's some bug, I think, that requires this compound space warp that we're going to be using to be below the zero plane, but no big deal. We just push it down a bit. We'll leave this at 0 for now, and this is what's actually going to stick to the surface. We'll just change the size a little bit to, say, 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2. Alright, cool. So we need to create some another space warp to make this work. And what I'm going to do is come back to my create panel, across to space warps, and I'm going to come down to geometric and deformable. And we've got this conform space warp, so let's click and drag that in the scene. And right now nothing's happening, but if we were to just grab this, go to the modify panel, wrap to an object, let's pick the plane that we created. So you can see object is plane 001, and if we do that fancy thing where we bind to space warp again, let's just bind this space warp across to this cube and watch what happens. Alright, so this jumped down and flattened itself against the surface, but we've got some offset. So you can see the standoff distance. If we change that, we can change the amount that it is. So we're going to just change that to, say, 0.1, and you can see that's nearly, it's nearly flat against that surface now. So maybe 0.2, just to lift it. And when we grab this cube, if we start to rotate it, you'll see its pivot point is kept where it was created, but we can move this around, and it sticks to this surface. It sticks to all of it, so all of the hills and everything like that. And you see when we move it off, it jumps away from it, but that's cool. Let's just leave it on, and you can see it now sticks to all of the surface that we've created, which is really, really fancy. And this is exactly what we're going to use when it comes to making our car stick to a surface that we have. It's not really much more difficult than that. We have to add in some geometry to allow this to happen, but that's it. This thing is now attached to the surface as long as we're over it. As soon as we move away, obviously it's going to pop off of it, but we just increase the size of the plane if we need to. So that's how we're going to get the car to stick to a surface.